And good morning, friends of flying felines and cats in the sim. Thought I would try doing my first YouTube live stream this morning using some different software. So we'll see how this goes. Made some changes over the past few days in my setup of software. So here, let me bring that up. I'll show it to you. Got some jams going in the background from a local radio station. Alright, let's see here. There we go. So one of the changes I recently made is that I set up my browser to automatically open a tab for nearly every item in my pre-flight planning checklist. So it hopefully will save me from a lot of opening tabs, going to a separate website, and a lot of mouse clicking. And just go ahead and go one tab after the other and review everything. What you see right now on the screen, that is the route of flight I'm taking for this morning. It's going to be a short little flight. I found a Cessna 152 for rent in FS Economy at Salt Lake City. I noticed that there were a couple of passengers just heading, let's see, about 20 miles. So it should be a relatively short flight. Let's check out the METARs. So at Salt Lake City, looks like as of roughly 10 minutes ago, wind was 150 at 11, 10 statute mile visibility, scattered at 12,000, overcast at 18,000, temperature 1, dew point -7, altimeter 2980. And if we look at the forecast, yeah, they're looking for maybe a ceiling up at 12,000. Now keep in mind this is above ground level. And Salt Lake City, looking at the sectional here, that's at 4,200 feet. So no, we're really not going to have to worry about contending with that ceiling. And I anticipate getting off the ground hopefully within the hour. So you figure we'll be landing on 1700, maybe a little after 1700 Zulu. So seems like the conditions should, for the most part, change. The ceiling will drop a little down to broken around 8,000 in the next 2 hours or so. Ooh, moving into later tonight, it looks like they're going to have a pickup in wind, some reducing visibility, and light snow. Let's take a look at our destination, Bolander Field, Tule Valley. And let's see. That timestamp doesn't look quite right to me. Anyway, it's 180 at 15, gusting 20. 10 statute mile visibility in clear skies. Temperature 1, dew point -7, and it's also around 4,300 feet above sea level. So 180 at 15, gusting 20. Over here, 150 at 11, 150 at 11. So over here at Salt Lake City, it's more coming out of the southeast here. It's more out of the coming right out of the south. And keeping in mind, if you read it, it's in true, right? So we would have to potentially do a conversion here to magnetic. Here's our magnetic variation line, and it's 11 degrees 30 minutes. East is least, west is best. So we have east, so we subtract that from what we read. So it's really around 170. Magnetic will be the wind direction down here, around 140 over here at Salt Lake City. So definitely going to try to land runway, let's see, runway 17 is what we would expect there. So, all right, cool. I'm not sure if you guys are picking up any of the tunes in the background. This being my first live stream using YouTube, I'm going to have to preview, watch it later and see how the audio comes through. All right, so we're looking at the prog chart. So there's Salt Lake. Looks like we have a high pressure system. This was as of roughly 3 hours ago, so let's go ahead and advance it. And this is 1800 Zulu. So right now it's 1500. So this is in roughly 3 hours. Looks like they're expecting maybe some snow showers. Do I see a little bit of purple there? I think I do. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that. So this was a few hours ago. It's going a few hours later. We have a low moving in. Looks like a trough. So that could support some cloud development. Ooh. Yeah, so that must be the weather that's moving in that we saw as forecasted for later tonight. All right, we've seen the prog chart. Looks like for the most part we have a high pressure moving out of the area. High pressures, clockwise circulation in the northern hemisphere, right? So as we see on the surface, wind is coming out of the south as we would expect. And as we go up, and we'll check our winds aloft in just a moment. As we go aloft, right, well, we expect the opposite of what happens as we approach the surface. As we approach the surface, the winds tend to, around highs anyway, but they relax outward. Due to friction. So if that's the case, they're coming out of the south. And so if they relax, we'll see if I'm right, but I think the wind might be a little bit more out of the southwest once we look at the winds aloft. Okay, moving right along. Let's look at the significant weather charts. Check the timestamp. So this is in a couple hours. Looks like we will have some marginal stuff off to the north, and we'll be just on the edge of it too, as represented by, I forget what they call this. I think they might call it scallop shapes. But we'll be just on the edge of this, which is ceiling 1,000 to 3,000 feet inclusive, and or visibility 3 to 5 statute miles. Looks like we'll have to deal with some moderate to greater turbulence. And freezing level at surface, yep, we'll be contending with that too. So, good. We've looked at that. Let's look at satellite imagery. I'll zoom out. I am broadcasting at a lower resolution than my screen actually has. So that's something I'm going to be looking at later as well to see how it comes across. So if it's not the best, understand I'm learning the ropes here. So here's Salt Lake. We zoom out a bit. Looks like we have some higher clouds. So brighter whites means that the cloud is higher, is being seen higher. Let's switch to, let's see, water vapor. Interesting. Okay. Look at the radar. And we do have that southwest flow. So something I point out is the advantage of satellite is that you're looking from up above down. For radar, you're looking from the bottom up, right? So you have to keep that in mind when you look at these returns. And you have to consider the limitations of them as well because of their viewing points. Radar, for example, and I know it in the past, I've spoken about this, of course, the broadcasts weren't saved by Twitch, but if this is our radar site and we're doing a cross-sectional view, it sends out its signals, right, which hits the cloud particles and then returns back, right? So it gets a return. But these radars, they send these signals out at an angle. So if this is the surface, right, they don't see anything in this area here. And the angles that they send out these signals, we were to draw a cross section, right? So they might send out the signal here. They send out a signal here, right? So this area is a blind spot. as is this area over here, and this area over here. I probably should have done different colors. The point being, anyway, is I will use a different color. This area is a blind spot, as is this area, and as is this area. Hey, we're living up to our name today. Emeralda's decided to join us. Hey, Emmy, you gonna say hello for the camera? We have a co-cat today, co-captain cat. So now with satellite, right? If you have high clouds, it might be blocking your visibility of clouds lower and closer to the surface, which is where we depart and land, right? So you have to keep that in mind. Okay, let's look at the aviation forecast discussions. Salt Lake City. Clouds increase with lowering bases into Saturday morning as another system pushes in. Precip timing is uncertain, but generally, here, I'll zoom in, keeping in mind that you guys have lower resolution on the stream. Generally expect some increasing chance of light rain and snow showers after 1800 Zulu. So that's in a few hours. Right now it's 1500 Zulu. Precip changes to light snow near frontal passage, and most likely timing of prevailing light snow and associated lower ceilings and visibility between this night, tonight rather, into tomorrow morning. Isolated to scattered chances of light snow persist thereafter. South winds increase throughout Saturday morning with gusts up to 30 knots through the day. After west shift with front, southerly flow returns overnight. Okay. Now we're looking at the graphical area forecast tool. Let's punch in our intended route of flight, KSLC.KTVY. Yeah. I wonder if you guys can even see Emmy. Yeah, you can't. Here, I'll tilt it down a bit. Hey, Emmy, you saying hello? So, if we... Let's go there. Now I have to find it. There it is. And we're currently looking at turbulence. So we're departing at, well, the field elevation is around 4,200 here, 4,300 here. Minimum elevation figure, the MEF. It's 9,700 in this quadrant. You okay? What'd you do? You got the hiccups? Yummy. Uh-oh, are you gonna vomit? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna put you down. And I'm going to have a carpet to clean. Oh boy. Let me go check on her. So hang tight for just a moment. Well, happy that wasn't on approach. Poor little girl. Alright, so we'll likely depart. Well, we should read our chart supplements first, but yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait to get to the chart supplements to talk about a route of flight. But it looks like, obstructions-wise, 9,300 feet here. I think I like the idea of just following the interstate over here. If we're landing 1-8, there is no right pattern, so it must be a left pattern. We will fly over the field, at least 3 miles beyond it, do our descending turn, likely a right turn, to come back and enter the... Hold it. I almost made a mistake. I was briefing a right pattern. It's going to be a left pattern. So 1-8 left turns, right? So what I'll want to do is fly off to the south and then fly northwest to enter left downwind for runway 18. So yeah, that's what I think my entry will be. And for Salt Lake City, no VATSIM control services are currently available, so it'll likely be CTAF. And see, we have a nice little runway right here. That'll be probably the most into the wind. Okay, let's move right along here. Let's look at the clouds forecast with the graphical forecast area tool. And overcast 14,000, tops up at 35,000. Let's look at the base. That's the color scale. I'm finding I like, hey, you're back. You feel better? Did you leave a mess for me? What about precip? Looks like we have a chance of some snow and rain, right? The dots are rain. The asterisk, well, that's snow. And the more you have, the more snow you expect. So that's like roughly an hour out from now. No, I'm sorry, it isn't. It's this is roughly 3 hours out from now. And this is roughly 2 hours out. It's loading. Okay. Any low-level wind shear? I doubt it, but we'll see. See the winds. Well, we're going to take a look at 9,000 feet. Yeah, out of the southwest and more from the west. Kind of what I predicted anyway. Looks like they'll be around 20 knots to 25 knots out of the southwest. So we'll be bucking a headwind. Let's check the turbulence. Yep. Moving right along here. And SLC for the wind forecast. 180 at 16 for the south. And then I'm thinking 6,500 feet following the shoreline will be a nice flight. So we'll be contending likely more with 6,000. So 180 at 16. Keep in mind this isn't true, so we subtract roughly 10. So the wind at 6,000. So 060. The wind, I'm expecting it 170 at 16. At 9,000, 090. I'm expecting it to be 190-ish at 29. Oh, all right. And with a -6. Okay. Let's look at our air mets. Or sigmets, rather. I'm not seeing any. Yeah, so I'm going back and forth between a little over an hour ago and a little under 3 hours from now. We can see that moderate icing air met is starting to extend south there, and it expands as the day progresses, likely as things start to cool down. Turbulence. Okay. Surface winds. Well, out here in the northeast, we got something going on, huh? think I might be listening to one of the local college stations. 90.9, I think. All right. So just quickly recap. What a mess. So yeah, we want to make sure we stay out of any visible moisture. And we might expect some bumps along the way. We're not flying IFR, but if we wanted to do a RAIM check, this is a place where we could do that. And today's beverage of choice is lemon juice with tap water. I recently did my electronic flight instructor renewal course for my ground instructor certificates. This was a source that was referenced for checking RAIM, which is of course ensuring that your GPS has enough sources to validate position. You want to have that capability when you're flying IFR instrument approaches. I haven't played around with this tool yet, so kind of cool checking it out. As with so many things that the FAA puts out, advisory only, right? Uh, they always want to leave something for you to get snagged on. All right, enough with my comments. See any let's see, any TFRs or special use airspace we have to contend with? Doesn't look like it for our route of flight. Is there a way to put our route in? I don't see it. That would be handy though. Oh, we do have that restricted airspace off to the southeast of our flight. That's down here. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. And I don't see any TFRs here on SkyVector. Yep. Ah, good old NOTAMs. Just like the previous site where it said not for navigational use, this site is information in nature and is designed to assist pilots. It may be used in conjunction with other pre-flight information sources needed to satisfy requirements and is not to be considered as a sole source of information to meet pre-flight action. Okay. So we're going KSLC, KTVY. Holy NOTAMs, Batman. Let's see. We're not doing any instrument approaches. Obstacle departure procedure for Salt Lake. Changing takeoff minimums. We don't have to worry about that. Don't have to worry about the SID because we're departing. We don't have auto land in our 152. I wonder if they have a picture. No. So what I'm going to do is I thought there was a place where I could search. There a place where I can enter the airport? Not seeing the search area where I went before. See if I go back. Search results. Okay, where do I enter up here? Let's give it a try. SLC. That's probably not going to work. So the other night when I set this up, I knew. There we go. This is the page. Gonna bookmark this for later, and I'll. There we go. So KSLC. You've got to have an airport diagram. You know what? I'm just gonna bring it up here. And you know what? Because I am broadcasting at the lower resolution, I'll give it its own tab. All right, let's talk about these NOTAMs here. Okay, so taxiway Bravo location sign between taxiway Alpha 8 and Alpha 9 light is not in service. Okay, where that? All right, Alpha 8. Okay, so that's over here. Taxiway Bravo sign is out of service. Okay, what else we got? Tower light, but it's less than 200 feet above the ground and more than 7 miles away. No concern. Same thing here. No concern for those. They're really low and far away from the airport. I shouldn't be that low. Don't have to worry about the SID. Oh, good. Let me organize by location. There we go. Terminal area radar out of service. Okay, that's good to know. You're not using any of the approaches. RVRT unserviceable. Let's see, plain language. Touchdown zone. Some towers we don't have to worry about. Takeoff minimums, don't have to worry about that. Warning for glider activity in the vicinity of Nephi Airport. Where is Nephi Airport? N-E-P-H-I. Not seeing it. Maybe they have some more details. Uniform 1-4. Oh, it's... That's pretty far from our course. I guess if you're a commercial airliner, yeah, and you potentially have a glider with no electrical system, radius B, soaring around there. Yep. Suppose you would want to know if there's a lot of activity. All right, time for our destination. Time of designation, NOTAM. I don't know what that is. Okay, and this is just giving you advisory about that restricted area. These down here. Okay. We've reviewed our NOTAMs. Kind of doubtful if they have an airport diagram for this airport. Oh, they have a departure procedure. Cool. They have an ILS as well. Looks like it takes you over the lake. All right. And yep, runway 1735. Still no VATSIM coverage. Hey, the name. This guy's singing about a sweet kitty cat. It fits for our channel. How about that? Okay, so we're going KSLC. And just for a loose guide, if we were to fly direct, right, it's going to be 20 miles. We're going KTVY. Looks like the bearing, magnetic course rather, is 227 degrees. I'll compute the wind correction angle in a moment. Distance is 20 nautical miles. And we're going to be cruising, let's see. So I'm talking about following the interstate out here and then turning south, keeping at least 3 miles away, preferably more. I can stay, kind of hug these mountains. The wind is coming out of the southwest, right? So I'm going to be on the upwind side of the mountains. I might get some updrafts. At least I won't be in the downdrafts on the downwind side. And so I can stay out here around, continue at 6,500. Looks like we have a tower here at 5,500. So yeah, I'll depart. Be right. Well, it's uncontrolled. Right. So we'll get to the chart supplement in a moment and talk about the turnout. But I'm thinking once I leave the pattern, I'll be a right turnout. Follow the interstate over here. Turn south. And then we'll turn northwest to enter that left downwind at midfield. And alternatively, we could stay over here, keep our distance from the approach end of the runway, and then fly in from the west, do the midfield cross entry, right, where we'd come in and then make a right turn. No, correction. Come in and make a left turn to join the downwind. I want to just come down here, though. We have reporting weather. Don't necessarily have to fly over the field and see the windsock before we decide to enter the pattern. All right. So at 6,500 feet, we're a little more than 5,000 feet above sea level. Add 10% to indicator to get true airspeed. And let's cruise at, let's say 100 knots true. So our true airspeed, we're going to say is going to be equal to 110. To get the desired indicated for that, I'm going to divide 110 by 1.1. Let me bring up my calculator here. Oh, did I write 110? Might be getting my wires crossed with the 172. True airspeed, we're going for 100. So 100 divided by 1.1. So we're going to be doing an indicated of roughly 90 knots. So with the true airspeed, let's go to the wind side of our E6B flight computer. We're going to turn this to 22. Well, let's use a 6,000. So 170 at 16 roughly. So we're putting in the wind direction. 70. Put the center on 100. Count up 16. I think I want it a little bit lower. There we go. All right, and now 227. Close enough. There we are. We're going to be going at a true airspeed of 100. So our ground speed is going to be 90, and our wind correction angle looks like minus 8 degrees. So some quick math here. We're going to go 9 nautical miles every 6 minutes. So for this, go back to the slide rule side. Put this underneath the 90. So we're putting the triangle underneath 90. Find the distance, 20. So this will be roughly 13.5 minutes. Okay, so figure with the climb, add 3 minutes roughly, so we're up around 16, 17 minutes. So from departure, we should hopefully be getting to our destination within 20 minutes. If we don't see it, we've flown past it, right? So we just want to set up these logical checks so as we fly along and keep our situational awareness. All right, so let's go to the POH now. Section 4 for performance. Oh, I think I went too far. Oh, Section 5, I'm sorry. Now, the temperature is around 0. We're up around 4,000 feet. Let's round it up to 5. We need 2,000 feet to clear a 50-foot obstacle. We have that. For rate of climb, looks like we want to climb around 65 knots, which is around best rate. We'll get somewhere around 500 feet per minute. Probably better because we won't be fully loaded, I don't think. No, we won't be because I didn't take on full fuel. Let's see. Cruise performance. Let's look at 6,000. Now, standard atmospheric temperature at 4,000 feet. The atmosphere decreases in temperature by 2 degrees centigrade per 1,000 feet. All right. And standard atmospheric conditions at sea level is 15 degrees centigrade. So you want to subtract 10, so 5. We're roughly minus 5 below standard. So we're closer to standard. It'll get slightly better performance, but we're going to be a little bit higher. They might balance each other out. So looks like around 2,400 RPM. We'll be burning just under 6 gallons per hour. We'll get a true airspeed of around 100 knots. Let's take a look at our landing requirements. "1,500 feet should leave plenty of room. I won't be calculating density altitude today. So let's see our pre-flight planning checklist. We checked all of these items, except PIREPs. I didn't see any in SkyVector. We checked GPS, didn't see any TFRs. So our departing airport is a little over 4,200 elevation. Our arrival airport is a little over 4,300. For our departing airport, I think we're going to spawn down here. And so runway 14, I kind of want to use runway 14. We'll look at the chart supplement in just a moment. And yeah, that's just shy of 5,000 feet. That should be plenty. And then for our arriving airport, it's over 6,000 feet, so that should be good as well. Hey, did you just see what I saw? If we go back from the flight deck, looks like they have a video on flying in this area. We'll zoom in. Looks like we have multiple wing and socks around the runway that we intend on using, which will be 150 feet wide. I suppose, you know what? I could just taxi and do an intersection takeoff. This is 10,000 feet long. I can go up here and do a midfield, an intersection takeoff at Kilo 5, taxiway Kilo 5, and still have like 5. Yeah, we'll have 5,000 feet. We'll have more than enough. How do obstructions look at the end of the runway? It doesn't look like I have to worry about hitting anything. We do have this South Regional Airport, though, off to the south. And we do have a VOR in the vicinity as well, so this will be a congested area. Let's look at the remarks. We have birds to contend with. Oh, runway 1432 closed below 1200 RVR, so we don't have to worry about that. Visibility is good. Don't have to worry about our wingspan there on taxiway Yankee. We don't have to worry about special VFR today. Look out for extensive paragliding ops in vicinity of point of the mountain. No, I saw that just the other day. Point of the mountain. Oh, here it is. Out here. I'll move this over. Okay, let's look at our destination. Tule. Belinder Field. I probably mispronounced that. 6,100 feet by 100 feet. Asphalt, medium intensity runway lights. Slopes up to the south, so we're going to be landing uphill. Pappy on both sides. So on the right for runway 17, left for runway 35. Runway end identifier light for runway 35. Airport's unattended, parachute jumping, extensive flight training in vicinity of airport. Okay. All right, so let's do intersection Kilo 5 departure on runway 17. And what we're going to do is that traffic pattern altitude, they don't specify one, so it must be 1,000 feet above. Right, and so I'm going to climb up to 6,200 feet. So I'm 2,000 feet above the field elevation, 1,000 feet above piston traffic pattern pattern field altitude, 500 feet above turbine traffic pattern altitude, right? So I'm going to make sure I'm clear of the traffic patterns, and then I'll make that right turnout. So 6,200 at least. And over here it'll be 5,300 for the traffic pattern altitude. Cool. Check the checklist. No time sensitivity. We got some time before the snow showers move in. We check the NOTAMs. If we have to return to the field, we'll just enter the left pattern for runway 17 at Salt Lake. We're departing visually. We'll do a best rate of climb out, so roughly 10 degrees pitch, 65 knots indicated. Our cruise, we're going to be cruising 90 knots indicated, 100 true. Winds aloft will be out of the southwest. We'll expect them to be around 16 to 20 knots out of the southwest, so we'll be bucking a headwind the whole way. And we'll have a ground speed of roughly 90 knots. For starting our descent, so we're going to come out here, keep it around 6,500. And once I have it 45 degrees to my quartering back right, I'll start my turn inbounds, and I'll maybe even just before I start that turn, I'll initiate the descent down to 5,500. We did have a near met for icing later, but we're going to steer clear of visible moisture. No stars, no instrument approach. 2,000 feet should be sufficient at our destination. If we look at a airport diagram on the approach plate here, so this is roughly, this is a halfway point right here. Right, so that's 3,000 feet. We want to make sure we're down by then. So we definitely want to be down before the second. So 1, 2, 3, third taxiway. We'll be aiming for the middle of the first third of the runway. Okay. I think we're good and ready to start loading up the flight sim. And I see I do have a chat box here, which is awesome. Ooh, live chat. Okay. Oh, I had it set for top chat. So I'm learning how to use this. Bear with me if I make any mistakes. Jamming out. All right, launching the sim now. Now, with AirPlay, I can stream my tablet here and have it shown to you at the same time, which, as using the sim, and showing you the sim at the same time, which I can't do on Twitch, or I haven't figured out how to do it yet. And I could set it up here, but I'm thinking, you know what? I can just bring up the browser. This way I have less Wi-Fi traffic, too, to contend with, because the way it streams the screen on the tablet to the PC is using the Wi-Fi network, so we'll just pretend that this is my electronic flight bag here. And how long have I been streaming? Does this thing have a counter? It does. Oh my gosh, it's been roughly 50 minutes, right? And it's going to be like a 20-minute flight. So as I tell my ground students, and I've shared with other instructors, and they, for the most part, agree, if you're flying someplace where you've never flown before, and that is not routine, you should be spending at least as much time planning your flight as you are actually flying it. And that doesn't count the pre-flight inspection of the aircraft. So if you're taking less time to plan the flight than you are to actually fly the flight, you might not be looking at everything that you can. close one curtain here, reduce the lighting a little bit. Okay. And we're planning departing 17 at Kilo 5, which is here. So you know what? I think I'm going to just spawn right here. And then we can use Kilo 5, which I believe is this one. I'll verify, though. I'll just quickly reset my rental and FS economy so it doesn't kick me out. Let's see how much gas we got on board. 14 gallons. That should be sufficient. Hey, Emmy has returned. You feeling better? Miss Esmeralda's. She's like, I hear you're taking off soon. Alright, loading up the flight now. Cool. Oh, is my challenge today to fly with you on my lap? Is that the challenge today? That and finding where you vomited? Okay. And pre-flight is complete. Let's go ahead and verify. You're going to make this a challenge, aren't you, Esmeraldas? Let's verify it. Controls are working. Yeah, good on that side. Oh. Yep. Yep. Let's check those rudder pedals. You aren't going to like this part, I'm sure. Set the directional gyro and the altimeter. We put on the gas. Avionics Master is off, but in order to turn them off in this game, I have to deal with these annoying little knobs. So it's a sim. It's not going to blow up the radios. It's not like X-Plane and some of the reality expansion packs that would make consequences for such actions. Okay, mixture's on. Nobody to the left. See anybody behind us? We have this guy over here, and I presume we have somebody behind this. So I'll just make a turn to the right. Okay, on the brakes. Clear. Alright, we have successful engine start. And we have oil pressure. Good. And engine start time. 11:55, engine start. And that's Eastern time. Oh yeah, is that so, Miss Prue? Put all the lights on for safety. Okay, checklist time. Seatbelts. Set and secure, brakes test and set, fuel selector is on, mixture control. I followed the engine starting, yep. I should have used this as a to-do list as opposed to a checklist, though. I prefer to use it as a to-do list. And check the oil pressure, flaps are up, circuit breakers we checked, radios, intercom, radios, transponder set. Very good. And I'll go ahead and connect to VATSIM. You're going to stand on my checklist, aren't you? You troublemaker, you. You troublemaker, you. You're like, pay attention to me. I'll move the tablet so you can sit there. Alright, we're connected to VATSIM. Okay, so when we do the taxi, we're going to check our turn coordinator. We want the ball to swing to the outside of the turn, the plane to bank into it. Attitude indicator shouldn't vary by more than 5 degrees. Directional gyro should respond accordingly. And magnetic compass should be free moving. In terms of flags, we don't have a flag currently for the directional gyro or the attitude indicator. We have 2 flags shown on both of the nav VORs. The Cessna 152 I'm renting in FS Economy does not have an IFR package, so I will not expect these to operate during this flight. Okay. And the wind is out of the southeast, so I'm putting in my aileron corrections for that. So I'm going to put the brake on here, and we'll just do our run up here while we're out of the way. Roughly into the wind. Gonna set the chair a little bit farther forward. There we go. Okay, so we already checked the flight controls. Trim is set. Fuel selector is on. Throttle. All mixtures rich. Throttle up to 1700. Right over to the right mag. For a drop no more than 150 or 50 differential. Looks good. Back to both. Carb heat, looking for that RPM drop. There it is. I'll make sure it goes back up. Turn it off. It does. Okay. With carb heat on, we have suction. Yep. And we're bringing it back to idle. Make sure the engine doesn't quit. Yep. Check the pitot heat here. Yeah. You can take a load. Flight instruments are check. Heading indicator, we don't have one. Radios. Set CTAF for VATSIM. Doors and windows. All right. Oh, that's. I forgot that you guys are looking at the sectional chart here. Zoom out so I can read this during flight if I wanted to. So we're up here. We're just going to taxi out, make a left onto Kilo, then right onto Kilo 6, and we'll depart. What are you doing? Are you trying to destroy stuff in the flight sim? Cats in the sim. Alright. So we're good. We've briefed where we're going. Let's do it. Parking brake off. Oh, and here I'm going to just re-lean for ground op. So 1200 on the RPM roughly. Bring the mixture back for peak RPM. A little bit too far. Okay, there we are. Clear right, clear left. Put in those aileron corrections for the wind. Vehicle road. Oh, we do have a vehicle coming. We'll wait for him to pass. Anything from the other side? Nope. Turning on to Kilo. Just gonna make a right turn on to Kilo 5. Well, this one's labeled Kilo 6. Double check the oh, it is Kilo 6, not Kilo 5. My bad. Oops.
I'll make traffic Delta 424 at gate S12. Push back.
I just heard somebody out there. Really quiet though on there we go, that'll hopefully... I need to select the input device. There we go. Radio check.
Got you 5x5.
Roger, thank you. And I'll just verify that... Can you guys in fact hear... And one more time, radio check, please.
5x5.
Roger, thank you. Okay, good. I know you guys should be getting that now. It might be a little bit too loud, in fact, but we'll see what happens. I'll try to turn it down a little. I'm gonna shrink this a little. Okay, so for our departure, departing runway 17, field elevations 4200. Climbing up to 6,200 before that right turnout. We will fly, I think 260 will be a good one. We'll intercept the shoreline, follow the shoreline down, and make that left turn. Fly over here and wait until the airport's quartering 45 degrees off a right, and we'll turn inbound to enter the midfield, left downwind runway 18. Engine failure on takeoff. So it's 4,200. We're not down at sea level, so our climb won't be as great. So we're not going to gain as much altitude per time. So I'm going to say 1,000 feet. So up to 5,200 feet, land straight ahead, plus or minus 30 degrees. 5,200 and up, there'll be a abrupt nose forward with a steep turn to the right, to return and land runway 35. So that's the plan. Okay, let's do this. Seatbelts, gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop, throttle, fuel pump, carb heat, flaps, cow flaps, lights, trim, and talk. And before we pull out, I'm just going to do a quick circle here. Check the horizon for traffic. I didn't see anybody. Salt Lake City traffic, Cessna 4648 Lima is a Cessna 152 departing runway 17 from Kilo 6. It'll be a west turnout departure at 6,200 feet, Salt Lake City. Okay, engine instruments are good. Wind's going to be coming from the left.
Salt Lake traffic, Delta 424, taxiing via hotel to runway 17.
Wind was a little squirrely on that takeoff. I have done far better. That was slightly embarrassing. Wind might have been stronger than was reported. So we'll continue that climb at 65 knots. I'm thinking if I were to do that again, I would take the time to just pull out, line up, and then accelerate from the stop. I try to do the rolling acceleration. And with the wind not coming from straight down the runway, it was a little squirrely. Time off, 12:08. Trim now. Climbing through 5,000. So add 3 to that for the climb. And we can return to the field now if we lose our engine. Approaching 6,000 feet.
Salt Lake traffic, Delta 424, crossing runway 16 left.
And 6,100. Just about there. I keep looking back to double check my ground check. Coming up on these clouds a bit. Alright, 6,200. Let's make sure, clear right.
Salt Lake traffic, Delta 424, clear runway 13.
Clear left. Salt Lake City traffic, Cessna 4648 Lima is a Cessna 152, just departed, runway 17, 6,500 departing to the west. bumped around a bit. Those aren't my rudder inputs that's making us yaw like that. Oh, 6,700 feet. Put a little bit more altitude in the bank than I wanted to. I wanted to level off at 65. So it's just so focused. Making my traffic calls and everything. Ah, aviate, navigate, communicate. Gotta keep the priorities straight. Oh, 6750 ain't bad. So now if I zoom in here, so we just departed. Made a right turn out. I'm probably seeing this interstate right here.
Salt Lake traffic, Delta 424 holding short, runway 17 for a momentary
big
pause.
band jazz on the radio. So if we were to add 16 to 1208, and time now that we turned on course, yeah, you add roughly 3 minutes. One of my instructors taught me that trick. So, figure 16 added to 1208. We're looking at 24 past the hour, roughly. And I'm going a little fast. I need to come back on the power. Let's get us settled for cruise. Yeah, power, so we want, and the mixture. Moving forward, when Honeycomb releases their new rudder pedals, the CH products are getting the job done, but the Honeycomb yoke and throttle quadrant I'm so happy with. I think I'm finally going to update the pedals when they release their Honeycomb Charlies.
Salt Lake traffic, Delta 424, taxiing onto runway 17, departing for
Hey, Emeraldus is back.
Salt Lake traffic, Delta 424,
Clawing into my leg.
to the
Come
south
on, come on.
for Houston.
Yep, there you go. You know, Emeraldus, this spot right here on the table would be perfect for you to perch on. She's like, yeah, right. No, your lap is warm. I'll sit there. Is that true? Yeah, I ended up climbing up higher than I intended. 6750. It's within 3,000 feet of the surface, so we don't have to worry about the whole odd and even depending upon direction, because we're within 3,000 feet. Barely. One interstate. There's the other. So we're right around here. Tailings Pond. Tollings Pond. That must be this down here.
Salt Lake City, Delta 424 is cleared, runway 17.
Get a little nose down trim. There we go. Okay, maybe a little too much. Oh, yep. She wants to climb on top of the computer box because it's warm. so if I were to mark where we've been, where we're going. This is the kind of path we're gonna do. And we departed 17, which is this runway here. It is a bit bumpy. Go ahead and get the weather, our destination. So 119er 725. Ooh.
Kilo Tango Victor Yankee Automated Weather Observation 1700 Zulu. Wind 129er at 5. Visibility 10. Sky condition, ceiling 13,200 feet overcast. Temperature 2C, dew point 10C, altimeter 29er 77. Kilo Tango Victor Yankee Automated Weather Observation 1700 Zulu. Wind 129er at 5.
129er at 5. That's a bit of a surprise. So we can see where the railway splits from the interstate right here. That's where we're going to make our turn in. And with those bumps I was getting, I was on the downwind side of the mountains too, so that might have been why I was being knocked around a bit. And it looks like the interstate for a little bit points nearly directly at the airport, so here's the railway. So I would expect the airport to, there it is, right there. I'll follow the railroad. Yeah, definitely much smoother up on the upwind side mountains. Odd on how they have snow cover just a portion. I don't know if it's like that in real life or not. Welcome back. Say hello for the camera. We're really living up to the Cats in the Sim namesake today. I'm gonna have to move you for when I go to enter the pattern and land them. She's chasing you. You're silly. Uh-oh. What are you trying to do? Helping me practice partial panel? All right. And we're right around that 16-minute point. Looks like another minute or two. And let's see, so we're approaching this part right here. So we're likely really adjacent to it. There it is, there's the airport right there. Lost a little altitude, I'll get back up here. Alright, so I want to fly roughly another 2 to 3 miles. We're going at roughly 90 knots ground speed. That's what our estimate was. So 2 minutes should send us 3 miles. So let's start the clock. In 2 minutes, the airport should be roughly at our quartering right rear. And I can make that turn. Seeing the airspeed indicator hop around made me feel the need just to put it on for the sake of it. That's not necessarily icing, it's just turbulent air. I think I'm going to have to add another display so I can keep the chat comments up during the flight. Right now, they're not the active window, they're kind of hidden. Alright, I think I'm just about ready to start my turn. I don't see any high obstructions. This is 5,100 feet out there, so I can go ahead and start my descent down to 5,500. Clear right. Clear left. Clear behind. Alright, let's do that right turn. And as I'm reducing power, I'm going to go ahead and put on the carb heat. Bolinder Field, Cessna 4648 Lima is a Cessna 152, 5 miles to the southeast inbound to enter left downwind runway 18 at a 45 midfield. Bolinder Field. That's not a runway, that's a road. Okay, so 5,500. Where's the airport? There it is, right there. So we want to be at traffic pattern altitude at least 3 miles out from the traffic pattern. We're around 4 to 5 miles out. We're basically there, so that's good. This is the congested area. So we're down here on the outskirts. Seatbelts, gas, undercarriage, mixture, throttle, fuel pump, carb heat, flaps, cow flaps, lights, trim, talk. Alright. Whole 5,500 here. And universal CTAF on VATSIM is 122.8. So even though the CTAF is different in real life, you continue to use 122.8 in VATSIM. It's the field. Thank goodness you can zoom in, huh? Aim for that midfield point. So we have any traffic. See any? Already went through the landing checklist items. Getting a little low. Turbulence is knocking me around a little. Okay, gonna turn into that downwind. Not too far off. Bolinder Field, Cessna 4648 Lima is a Cessna 152. Midfield, left downwind, runway 18, Bolinder. Right, beam the numbers, power back to 1,500 roughly. We're within flap extension speed, 10 degrees flaps. We're going to pitch for 75. Now we put the carb heat on. Start at 75, let the nose drop, and we're going to trim it for 75. You got plenty of runway. I'm going to go ahead and start our turn now. We're going to be turning into a headwind. Out. Wind's coming from the southwest, so 20 degrees flaps going in, slowing to 65. It's hard to, alright, overshot a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to slow down to 55. Full flaps. Wind is clearly coming from the left. Established. Belinda, Cessna 4648 Lima, final 17 Belinda. One 7. Why was I thinking 18 earlier? Increase the amount into the wind as you slow down. Normally they tell you to wait to taxi clear before you put the flaps up. Stop. Park brake on, flaps are up. Carpet off. Belinda, Cessna 4648 Lima, clear the runway, Belinda Field. I could have sworn that this said, oh my gosh, it's runway, oh how embarrassing. Well, we'll definitely cover that in my debrief. Why the heck was I thinking 18? Oh, it's because the wind was 180. True. And my bad. Definitely in the debrief though. Okay, let's bring up the. Just gonna make a right turn, taxi down here, make left.
I at the Alexander Tunnel wants you back to Southwest 1 I'd like to.
Clear left. Clear right. Just gonna do a UE here. There we are. Taxi forward. Straighten out the nose wheel. Okay. Securing aircraft, park brake is set. Avionics master's off. Lights off except for beacon. Magneto ground check. Yep. Mixture idle cutoff. Ignition off, key on the dash, master switch off, control lock install, tie down, and pitot cover. Alright. There we have it. Another flight in the books. Second one to YouTube. First live stream to YouTube. The last one I uploaded after I streamed it to Twitch. So, with that, let's talk debrief. What did I do well? What did I not do so well? Debriefing is certainly the time when we have the opportunity to critique ourselves and identify where it is we can improve. Wasn't happy with the takeoff. It was kind of sloppy. Wasn't as controlled as I would like it to have been. Wasn't kept on the center line. Wind didn't seem to be what we were expecting it to be. So in the future, so things to work on. Takeoff. A rolling takeoff would be a good idea for a soft field takeoff. This wasn't a soft field takeoff by any means, so I should take the time to line up with the runway and gradually put in the power and already have my wind correction put in, and then adjust accordingly as I continue to take off. Altitude. On the climb out, I was planning at 6,200, making the right turnout. I announced it on the Common Traffic Advisory frequency. That was all good. But as I made that turnout, I actually overshot my altitude, which was 6,500. I climbed up to roughly 6,700 before I caught myself. So overshot it by 200, and then I decided to keep it around there, and then eventually decrease down to around 6,500 as I was on the eastern side of the airport, before turning towards, turning inbound to intercept the downwind. I feel like within the pattern I did pretty good. I'm really happy that if this is the runway, when I was on downwind, I'm happy that I verbally announced that I was turning into a headwind, because the winds were expected out of here, aloft anyway. Right, down on the surface, the wind was 129er at 5. So I was expecting to be turning more into a headwind, which of course means you don't need a well, if you have mainly a tailwind component to the wind, right, you're going to have to make a sharper turn to compensate for the higher ground speed, and then a shallower bank when you turn onto final. I think I did okay with that. I'm happy I announced that out loud. I think I should have thought about it a bit sooner, though. If I thought about it when I was inbound to enter the downwind, I think that would have been a good time to think about it. So perhaps I should add to my briefing wind impacts to traffic pattern. Should consider that. Now the approach and the landing, I was pretty happy with it. I did raise the flaps before I pulled off the runway, which I've had instructors tell me you don't do that. And part of the reason is someday if you're flying an aircraft that has gear, you might accidentally flip the wrong lever. So we had plenty of runway. If it was a short field and I had to enhance braking effectiveness and slow myself down, then yes, by all means, bring the flaps up to get the weight down on the tires. But wasn't necessary in this case. What else? I know when I passed the gas pump, I was closer. I think the sim was off in the distance between the taxi line and the gas pump. It was a bit closer than I would have liked. Oh, and runway number. Right, I was calling it runway 18, when it was in fact runway 17 at Belinda Field. So my bad. I think what happened there was that when I was looking at the METAR and I saw 180 and I thought, oh, it's basically down the runway, I internalized that it was runway 18 when in fact it was 17. So misspoken error. I identified it on final though. Yeah. And my cat Emeraldus joined us multiple times and didn't vomit on the computer, which is always a plus. So with that, have some stuff to keep in mind for the next flight. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this flight. It was a fun, short little flight, and you figure we touched down probably 5 minutes ago. So it was roughly a half-hour long flight once you took in all the detours, and we didn't fly direct. So anyway, with that, take care. Till next time, we'll see you.